Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The webinar will be start in 5 minutes. So we will start on time. Okay. Welcome, Masenia, Miss Fabrica. Our webinar will be start in 3 minutes. Okay, we will wait for more people. Hi, welcome, Harry. Hello, welcome, Miss Santos. The webinar will start in 1 more minute. Since the webinar is only 1 hour, we will start on time on 16 Jakarta time. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to our webinar on traditional knowledge and ocean governance. This webinar is organized by INADIS, or the Indonesian Institute of Advanced International Studies. So we are basically an interdisciplinary public policy research organization, which is based in Jakarta. And I'm Aldrin, the head of Area Studies Unit of INADIS. So this webinar is part of our initiatives to support the Ocean Decade program by UNESCO. Okay, so before we start, I would like to remind the participants that you can send your questions via the chat feature, and we will discuss it later in the question and answer session. So, okay, today we have with us three great speakers. Without further ado, I will call Dr. Senia Fabrica from the One Ocean Hub to introduce herself and start the presentation. Ms. Fabrica, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Aldrin. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. My name is Dr. Senya Fabrica, and I'm the Knowledge Exchange Associate at the One Ocean Hub. I will share my screen now. I hope you can see my presentation okay.
Yes, it's clear, Ms. Fabrica.
Thank you very much. Yeah. The topic of my presentation is on traditional knowledge and the BBNJ negotiation. So I will discuss how the topic traditional knowledge is being negotiated in the internationally legally binding instrument for the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity in area beyond national jurisdiction, or it's often shortened as BBNJ negotiations or the BBNJ proposed treaty. The concept of traditional knowledge is difficult to define. So the approach that has been taken by many is to explain the traditional knowledge as the knowledge held by traditional people and local community. This is also the approach that's been taken in the Convention on Biological Diversity, or the CBD Convention. If you look at the Article 8J of the CBD Convention, it points out traditional knowledge as knowledge, innovation, and practices of indigenous and local communities embodying traditional lifestyle. Anthropologist Martha John offers a very good definition on traditional knowledge. She explained traditional knowledge as a body of knowledge built by a group of people through generations living in close contact with nature. It includes a system of classification, a set of empirical observation about the local environment, and a system of self-management that governs resource use. Before giving further details about how traditional knowledge is negotiated, I'm going to give a brief explanations about what the BBNJ negotiations entails. So the first phase of the BBNJ negotiation already started in September 2018. The second phase began in March till April 2019, and the following third session on this negotiation took place in August 2019. There was a delay in the fourth phase of the negotiation that's meant to be the final round of negotiation, and this is now scheduled to be held in August this year. There are four main areas that are covered in the proposed treaty. The first one is marine genetic resources, including the questions on the sharing of benefit. Second, area-based management tools, including marine protected areas. The third is on environmental impact assessment. And the fourth area covered by the BBNJ negotiations is the capacity building and the transfer of marine technology. When we talk about the BBNJ negotiations, one question comes to mind: why we should care about this negotiation? There are three reasons that why we should care about this BBNJ negotiations. The first one is this BBNJ negotiation is important to advance understanding of the ocean, understanding of equity in knowledge productions between global north and global south. Second, BBNJ negotiations is important to contribute to environmental protection, especially in area beyond national jurisdiction. And third, this negotiation is important to advance the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal, particularly Sustainable Development Goals 14, Life Below Waters, and also other interrelated SDGs goals. So, for example, zero hunger and also health. The topic of traditional knowledge is addressed in all parts of the BBNJ negotiation, from the preamble, the benefit sharing, area-based management tools, environmental impact assessment, and also on the sharing of marine technology and also capacity building. I will start first from the preamble. There is a joint proposal made by the Pacific Small Island Developing State and also Australia to place in the preamble a provisions affirming that nothing in this agreement shall be construed as extinguishing rights of indigenous people and local communities. In the area of benefit sharing, countries such as Pacific Small Island Developing States, Australia, Maldives, New Zealand, Norway, they propose that state parties shall take measures to ensure that traditional knowledge associated with marine genetic resources collected, access in area beyond national jurisdiction that is held by indigenous people and local community shall only be accessed with free, prior, and informed consent and involvement of indigenous peoples and local communities. This is also the position of Indonesia and also the Philippines. The ongoing internal deliberations by the European Union and also the United States is still ongoing. The Republic of Korea does not take this, does not share these positions. In the area of area-based management tools, especially in marine protected area, there is a general convergence that science, traditional knowledge of indigenous people and local community, precautionary principles, and also the ecosystem approach should be the basis for identification of area and formulations of proposals on marine protected areas. So you can see the general convergence here. This is the position supported by Pacific Small Island Developing States, the Caribbean Community, South Africa, Indonesia, Monaco, the United States, Eritrea, the European Union, Japan, and the Republic of Korea. Countries that oppose this include Israel. There is, however, a diverging view when it comes to the inclusion of relevant traditional knowledge in the Conference of Parties review and monitoring in their decisions on the amendment or revocations of marine protected areas. There are countries that deem it's very important for traditional knowledge to be included in the relevant for the Conference of Party decisions on the amendment or revocations of marine protected areas. This is the position of Pacific Small Island Developing State, the European Union, Indonesia, Japan, Monaco, the Philippines, and the United States. Those who disagree with the inclusion of traditional knowledge include Israel and the Republic of Korea, among others. And when it comes to environmental impact assessment, the inclusions of traditional knowledge holders in the public consultations and notifications related to environmental impact assessment raise different views. There are countries that are in favor for traditional knowledge holders to be spelled out along with various types of stakeholders to be involved as party to be involved in public consultation and notification. This is the opposition of the African group, Caribbean Community, Pacific Small Island Developing States, Indonesia, Israel, Switzerland, and Norway. Republic of Korea is not in favor of this, and the EU still is on internal negotiations on these provisions. There is, however, a general convergence on the inclusion of traditional knowledge as a basis to prepare the content of the environmental impact assessment report. And you can see this is supported by Pacific Small Island Developing States, Caribbean Community, the core Latin American country, Indonesia, Israel, Republic of Korea, the European Union, and also China. When it comes to capacity building and transfer of marine technology, the inclusion of traditional knowledge holder in capacity building partnership also bring divergent views. So Republic of Korea and Israel are not in favor of the inclusion of non-state stakeholders in the partnership for capacity building and transfer of marine technology. Pacific Small Island Developing State, the European Union, the Philippines, and the US, on the other hand, they agree for traditional knowledge holders to be included as a stakeholder here. However, there is a general convergence when it comes to what type of capacity building and transfer of marine technology. There is convergence on the inclusion of traditional knowledge as part of the types of capacity building and also transfer of marine technology. So countries, Pacific Small Island Developing States, European Union, countries such as Indonesia and Republic of Korea, they all agree with this point. Terima kasih, thank you very much. If you have further questions or if you want to connect after the webinar, you can also contact me here in this is my email address. Thank you, and now I will stop sharing.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fabrica, for the very interesting presentation. Next, we have Ms. Dispriani Polite from the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries of the Republic of Indonesia. Ms. Polite, the floor is yours.
Sorry. Thank you, moderator. And thank you, INADIS, for organizing this webinar. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am DC Dispriani from Directorate General of Marine Spatial Management, Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries of Indonesia. Today, I would like to present about the implementation of traditional knowledge in formal policies and legal systems. My presentation will be, My presentation will be focusing on recognition of customary law communities through regional regulation, and I will give short explanation about background, legal overview of coastal community rights, strategy for customary law community empowerment, traditional knowledge in formal policies and legal systems, and conclusions. The international instruments such as UNCLOS, CCRF, RFMOs regulates on fisheries to create sustainable world fisheries. As we know that sea is open access, so we need to regulate the utilization of fishery resources and surveillance of fishing areas by formulating regulation. Coastal communities in Indonesia have traditional knowledge in managing coastal resources, which have been inherited from generation to generations over time and still practiced until now. For example, Sasi in Maluku and West Papua, Awik-awik in West Nusa Tenggara, and Panglima Laut in Aceh. Those such traditional knowledge and practice were recognized in formal policies by central and local government through region or major regulation. Here's some legal overview of coastal community rights and duties. Regarding the customary rights, amendment of 1945 Constitution mentioned that the state recognizes and respects the unity of customary law communities, or we call it as masyarakat hukum adat, and their traditional rights as long as they are still alive and in accordance with the development of the community. Law number 27 on management of coastal zone and small islands mentioned that utilization of space and resources of coastal and small islands waters in the area of the customary law community by the customary law community is the authority of the local customary law community. Obligation to have a permit of utilizing of space and resources of coastal and small islands waters is excluded for the customary law community. The form of recognition and protection of customary law communities is also applied in fisheries management activities, namely fishing and fish cultivation, that must consider customary law and local wisdom and pay attention to community participation. Indonesia has 3 different types of coastal communities. First, masyarakat hukum adat or customary law community, such as masyarakat hukum adat Malom Karta in Sorong Regency, West Papua. Second, local community, such as Suku Laut and Suku Bajo. Third, traditional community, such as Rote community, binding with Law of the Sea Convention that exercises traditional fishing rights in MOU box. The strategy for customary law community empowerment consists of some activities: identification and mapping community assistance, empowerment, and institutional independence. The aim of strategy is to create prosperous, strong, and independent coastal and small islands customary communities. There are some steps of empowering through the facilitation of customary law communities recognition and protection, as well as the empowering towards the independence of coastal customary communities. Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries provides the profiles of customary law community and maps of customary management area to be recommended as a basis for the establishment of region or major regulations. As you can see that from 2016 until 2020, there have been 29 customary law communities been identified, 20 have been established, and there are 16 region or major regulations in 5 provinces, and 1 water location permits for local community. Here's some region or major regulations concerning customary law communities facilitation by the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. And the region or major regulations describe the recognition and protection of customary law communities in managing coastal and marine resources based on their local wisdom or customary law. There is the map, there is the roadmap of customary law communities from 2020 until 2024, and facilitation of protection and strengthening coastal communities is conducted through identification and establishment of customary law communities so that the existence of the communities, customary institutions, local wisdom, and customary law is recognized by national and regional law. Second, developing communities enterprises by giving stimulants and business facilities that are needed by the communities. Third, increasing the capacity of human resources and the community economy by providing technical guidance for the communities. Until the year of 2024, hopefully there will be 30 communities get the facilitation. These are achievements of coastal communities facilitation from 2016 until 2020, and the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries continues facilitating the recognition of traditional knowledge into formal policies in some locations. This is the conclusions of my presentation. First, traditional knowledge system of coastal communities contains local wisdom and customary law that has an important role in managing marine resource sustainably. Second, the practice of managing resource based on local wisdom and customary law have been recognized by national law. Specifically for the recognition and protection of customary law community have been formulated by regional regulation in terms of region and major regulations. Third, the synergistic collaboration among stakeholders such as government, NGOs, communities, academicians, researchers is crucial to ensure sustainable resource management by the coastal communities. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ms. Polite, for the presentation. Okay, let's move to the next speaker. We have Ms. Nurhani Widyastuti from Universitas Papua. Ms. Widyastuti, the time is yours, please.
Okay, thank you for opportunity. I'm going to share my presentation. Okay, can you see? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, it's clear, but Ms. Widyastuti.
Okay, thank you. I'm from Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science in Papua University, and now I will try to share about Sasi. Maybe many of us know about Sasi, but I will share again. Okay. As we know that Sasi is term of many traditional management, especially for resource management in not only in Papua but in Western Indonesia, and we can see that in Papua Barat province, there are so many terms about Sasi, and for example, in Mayalibit, local people say kabus, and fak they say kera kera, and such as and in many traditional knowledge, there are some regulation about fisheries management, and we can see that the information that I get is restriction fishing gear. There is no take zone or no entry zone, open close system. In some area only for traditional fishing. There are also access right for women and women, for example. Sorry, women and men, for example. In mangrove area only for women, and for men they should go to the ocean. There are protected for economic species like a trochus, sea cucumber, and lobster, and there are also prohibition to catch some species like turtle, dugong, and special fishes. And unfortunately, our government have a regulation to support traditional knowledge. We can see that in Manokwari Declaration in 2018, there are Manokwari Declaration, and in this second declaration, there are statement about supporting the local knowledge. And in 2019, there are special regulation to support and adopt the traditional knowledge to manage and usage resources, marine and fisheries and marine resources. And why we must support the Sasi? We know that Sasi is our asset, our knowledge asset. Is our ancestor built this wisdom from long time process. They collect fact, data, and also spiritual conviction. They collect information, and they design to traditional knowledge and of course traditional wisdom. So it's very important to support Sasi. And in many areas, Sasi come from land management, and there are revitalization to be ocean or coastal resource management. So sometimes people say it's not traditional knowledge, but neo-traditional knowledge. And this is a first. And the second is, of course, Sasi give benefit. We know from many literature that our ancestors doing Sasi for some objective like sustainability of resources, protect resources from outsider, and also raise fund for a village project. For example, if they want to build church or renovation, they will make a Sasi regulation. And the third, Sasi give many benefit not only for ecological but also for social and economic. But it's specific for traditional fisheries, maybe not for massive fisheries. And this is one case from my team research in 2020 and 20. This is our research in Teluk Wandama Regency. We choose 3 area. There is Sasi in Menarbu. There is no Sasi, and collective Sasi. They have a Sasi area from far from their village. We can see the result that. In this research, we use AIFM approach, ecosystem approach for fisheries management, and the result give information that perform of fisheries in Menarbu, which is Sasi with Kaduk, give green flag, we can see that the aggregate of perform give information. Then Sasi, it's good not only for habitat and ecosystem, but also from the fisheries resources, fishing gear, social impact, economic, and institutional. But we can see that in economic aspect is give a green flag, but this is a lower perform. So this is our challenge. Our challenge is how to combine spiritual value to materialize life. We can say how to combine spiritual and give a support and also collaboration to make Sasi or traditional knowledge about resource coastal and resource management still exists, but it still also give benefit from local communities, especially for fisheries, for traditional fisheries. So for conclude my presentation, I want to say about super traditional knowledge. It's mean that save local communities and their ecosystem. I think it's enough, and if you can contact me in my email if you need. Okay, come back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Widyastuti. Maybe you can write your email in the chat box so the participants can write it. Okay, so thank you very much for the very interesting presentations from all the panelists. Next, I will open the question and answer session. So for the participants, if you have any questions, you can write down your questions in the chat box and I will relay the questions to the speakers. Yes, you can write down the name of the speaker and write your question in the chat box. Are there any questions?
If there is
Mr.
no
Indra,
question,
can you turn on the mic for Miss Miss? Oh yeah, Dian Octaviani.
Okay, go ahead. Please turn on the microphone.
Okay, Miss Dian, you can ask the question now.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Dian Octaviani. Also, you can call my name is Dian. I'm from Research Center for Fisheries in Jakarta. It's very interest about the traditional knowledge because I learned about traditional knowledge. I want to ask one question to the second presenter, ke Ibu Widyastuti ya.
The third maybe.
Yeah, okay. You said in your methodology you use approach with AAFM.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any others approach you apply in your research about ethnobiology maybe? Because I know we can strengthening the local knowledge, include ecological knowledge. We can use approach with ethnobiology. I think just it's my question. Thank you. I'm sorry, I not push you if about the ethnobiology because maybe just little bit few people know what is the ethnobiology.
Okay, I direct respond, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, you can answer the question now.
Okay, thank you, Miss Dian. We not use ethnobiology for specific methodology, but we have information that local people know about it. For example, I want to share about some of part of our result. Maybe I need some time. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. I found. Okay. I'm going to share. Can you see my presentation? This is some information about ethnobiology, and they make a close Sasi for 3 years, and it's amazing information that there are some research that for sea cucumber and lobster, they have laying maturity in 2 up to 3 years. So I think it's a ethnobiology from traditional communities. They know that hallucinatory or sea cucumber better to save or to protect them for 3 years. And I think it's some information about ethnobiology. We For your information, our research give have 3 objective. Sorry. We want to get information about perform of fisheries management, and also we make a recommendation. We choose arrange a recommendation to give to government, and then to analyze perform about their unit business in village. So this is amazingly the information that we only use AIFM approach, but we have information that they have a knowledge, and we can comparing with modern science that it's true. Maybe it's some example. I don't know. Are you okay with information or no? Uh, Hello.
Hello, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ibu Widya Stuti. Yeah, I think it part of ethnobiology
Yeah.
to apply that in the emic side, I think. Yeah, because in ethnobiology we have ethic side
Yes.
to
Yeah.
approve. Yeah, to
Yes. For the
strengthen
first,
our.
I give recommendation. 3 years is too long. Why not only 1 year? But no, we want to 3 years. Why? And I
Yeah.
searched the information. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. That's why I think from the ethics side we can approve by 3 years. I think yes. Yeah. I just maybe some days we can apply at ethnobiology.
Yeah.
Because my research I do in the Maya Libit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
About lemma.
Yeah, about
Oh,
lemma,
good.
and I with approach with the ethnobiology. and we can approve where the lemma spawning and something, and become, yeah, the people know, yeah, like that. So I think.
Yeah. We have
Thank you.
one campus in Raja Ampat, so I hope one day we will meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I will contact you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you for the question, Miss Octaviani. Next, we have Miss Wartini. You can ask the question now, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to ask question to Dr. Senia. Yes, it was very interesting presentation, Dr. Senia. So I can learn from your presentation that I would like to know in the development of protection of traditional knowledge in international level, because that there are some instrument which is already available, but this instrument like the CBD and also for Nagoya Protocol, that's the protection of traditional knowledge, still in the national jurisdiction of state. But when we talk about the resources which are available in the area beyond national jurisdiction of state, still in the process of negotiation, and it's hard how to find some kind of compromise the interest of among the state itself. So in the near future, it may be in the short term, is it possible that we are going to have such kind of hard law how to protect the interest of the state itself in the term of in the national level, that it may be use the national regulation, but how about in the area beyond national jurisdiction of state? Is it possible in the short term that we are going to have such kind of hard law how to protect these resources? Because we know that this kind of resources also need to be protected. Otherwise, that in the long term that we are going to lose this kind of resources. And the second question, I would like to ask to Ibu Desprianti. Okay, yeah, I have a lot of information related to the regulation which are already established by our government. But my question is that regarding the traditional knowledge which has been practicing in many areas in Indonesia, and in this case is related to the marine resources management, like you mentioning also about in the slide about Sasi and also awik-awik. So those kind of practicing of traditional knowledge which is been practicing by this kind of communities, so it contribute to the marine conservation and also to contribute also to the whole that's the community take advantage of this kind of resources. But my question is there any effort that has been also developed by the government how to protect the traditional knowledge itself in the sense of, for example, regarding the manage how to manage certain kind of areas? So is it really to protect the interest of the society, the communities, or on the other side also that like maybe that I would like also to have the information in Raja Ampat, the aquaculture also develop on this kind of area. So this kind of development of aquaculture in Raja Ampat, is it also keep the protection, the interest of the local communities, or this is much more protect the interest of the corporation with established, for example, making that kind of resort and on the equipment, how to diving and so on. So it means that Ibu Widya Stuti would like to keep that kind of information. Okay, thank you very much for answering my question. Okay, thank you. May I answer the question,
Yes,
please? Or
please.
maybe the first presenter will answer, Miss Ania, or
Yeah, I can give my answer. Thank you very much, Ms. Sriwartini's very interesting questions and very difficult one to answer. You are right. There are already a number of international instruments that highlight the importance to protect indigenous people and local community rights. As you mentioned before, the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Nagoya Protocol, there's also the UN Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People, there's ILO Convention 169. But currently there is a gap in protections of marine biological diversity in beyond national jurisdictions. And that's why the negotiation, the BBNJ negotiation is important. And the inclusions and the rights of traditional knowledge holders are being negotiated, debated in various aspects of this agreement. And this agreement is key to fill this gap, especially in protection of marine biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. Thank you.
Okay, I will try to answer the question. As I explained in my presentation, that as long as accordance with the development of the community and the principle of the United States of the Republic Indonesia, we need to consider the protection of the customary law community. So, in line with the conservation, that we know that customary law community or masyarakat hukum adat has the local wisdom and customary law that also support the conservation. So, when you ask about the development in Raja Ampat, that we choose the local communities or corporation, as I mean that as long as they support, they support the conservation, we should support it. So I don't know that the question is that choose the local community or corporation, because the protection and the recognition of the traditional knowledge is aimed to create sustainable resource management. So maybe I answer the question or
yes. May I just make a clarification of my question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your explanation. Yes, I just would like to know about in Raja Ampat itself that the development of aquaculture and also tourism in Raja Ampat has already developed and many tourists go to this area. So how that's the government would like to protect the interests of the local communities. So, and on the other hand also that how the local government also protect the interests of the corporation in providing many kind of facility how that many tourists can stay in there and enjoying their holiday in there. So can you explain how the harmonization between the interests of the local communities itself and also the interests of the corporation, so that it's not only just the government make priority for the corporation interest, but also how to give advantage that the development of aquaculture in Raja Ampat also keep improving the welfare of the community along the area. So because they have already managed the fishery in sustainable manner, so it will be also better if they can take advantage from the development of aquaculture, which is maybe managed by the other parties, and here is the corporation, so that those two kind of parties can take advantage and make such kind of mutual advantage in this kind of relationship. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Regarding the protections, as I mentioned about that Ministry of Marine Affairs provides the map also for the customary management area. that needs to be recommended as a basis for the establishment of a region or major regulations. I don't know that maybe in Papua still there is still no region or major regulations. So maybe hopefully to protect the interest of the traditional knowledge or the communities, we need to establish the region or major regulations. In terms of the tourism, Ministry of Marine Affairs also give the assistance to increase the welfare of the coastal communities by giving them some facilities to develop their business such as tourism. And in order to utilize the area, they don't need the permit because it is excluded to the customary law communities. But for the corporate or for the other society, they need to have like some permits. But the name now is different now. Its name is like persetujuan. So, but it is excluded for the customary law communities. Maybe because I'm sorry that maybe I will try to find the information about the aquaculture development in Raja Ampat. So how to balance the interest of local communities and also corporation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ms. Wartini, and thank you for the answer, Ms. Polite. So next we have 3 questions from Ms. Nakamura. The first is how the traditional knowledge is incorporated and could be expanded in the decision-making process of conservation and management of fisheries resources. Second question, how the traditional knowledge is formalized or if there any process of formalizing it. And third, if there are any differences on how traditional knowledge is perceived by the are there any differences on how traditional knowledge is perceived by the various communities? 4 speakers, okay, who want to answer? You can turn on your mic.
May I?
Yeah, please, Ms. Media Stuti.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nakamura. Miss or Mrs. Okay. In my opinion, it's possible to make a traditional knowledge as a conservation and management of fisheries resources. Yesterday, my team and me developed a focus group discussion about Sasi, how to make a perform of Sasi is better. So one of our recommendation is adopt Sasi or traditional knowledge as a legal format, and all of the parties agree that it's must be do it because I think it's related to the third question. Traditional knowledge is often only include the local communities, not for the outsider. The outsider not believe about, oh, you will give something, you will have you will get maybe punishment from the god or from the environment. So they sometimes they don't believe about the impact if you not allow the regulations. So local people and also the stakeholder agree that we must do traditional knowledge in a formal regulation, so it will include the outsider, not only from community that believe about their sanction, but also for the others. I think it's my opinion. So so and from the second is now in Papua, and I think in not only in Papua but in Indonesia, many parties have awareness about traditional knowledge, and they go to there. So many support, many collaboration we can do to make it better, it possible. I think that's it. And maybe I have one question, but maybe we can go to Miss Senia and Ibu Disi, and I will come back to answer the question from Ibu Senia about the barriers. But I think I can answer now. In my opinion, the barrier is law enforcement, because we have a regulation, and I said before that Papua Barat have a regulation about sustainable development, and there is a article about traditional knowledge, supported the traditional knowledge, the customary community, but we need law enforcement. Yeah, I think it's. Thank you.
Thank you for the answer, Ms. Vidya Stuti. Next, we have a question from Ms. Octaviani, which is addressed to Ms. Fabrica. How many our local community with their traditional fisher knowledge sailing into ABNG? Ms. Fabrica?
The majority of fishers, I think, in Indonesia are small-scale fishers, and they don't have the technology, the equipment to sail to the area beyond national jurisdiction. However, the BBNJ negotiation is still very important to protect their right, because this proposed treaty is important to protect area that not covered or governed by regional fishery management organizations. So to govern area that being fished by big fishing armadas, and also the mining in the seabed, the pollution, for example, the loss of biological diversity in there will have a knock-on effect towards the health, the well-being of the indigenous people, local community who live in the coastline. So this is why they are very important. It should be spelled out clearly in the agreement that they, the local community, the traditional people, the traditional right holders have to be consulted. They have to be notified for any activities that being carried out in area beyond national jurisdiction, whether it's development of marine protected area or environmental assessment. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fabrica, for the answer. Next, we have a question from Ms. Sudarman, which is addressed to Ms. DC, or Ms. Polite. Does the government anticipate any conflict with international ocean governance? Is the Indonesian government can fully protect local people who practice customary law?
Pardon? International law?
Does the government anticipate any conflict with the international ocean governance? And the second, is the Indonesian government can fully protect local people who practice customary law? Can the government fully protect the people who practice the customary law?
Oh, that's why the ministry, the central government try to protect the customary law communities through the establishment of the region or mayor regulation, because the condition of the customary law communities are different. They have their own characteristic in their areas, and in international now, we only know about the traditional fishing rights that binding in international law, conventional law of the sea, as I know, because in international law there is like indigenous community, we call it, but Indonesia actually doesn't have indigenous people. We call it as masyarakat hukum adat or customary law communities. So it is the different context. But we call it traditional communities that has traditional fishing rights. And the second question, please. What is the question, please?
Wait. Does the government anticipate any conflict with international ocean governance?
I'm sorry that I have no idea about the conflict to the because as I know that international law also support for the customary law as well. So I know like that. So I don't know that how to anticipate for the conflict.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer,
Yeah.
Ms. Polite.
Yeah. Sorry. May I add some information about the steps
Yes, please.
of the establishment, because honestly it takes a long process and it also need time to establish the customary law communities. So it starts from the proposal from the region or mayor as well, and also we need to establish the committee, and also we need to conduct identification and mapping, and also dissemination, verification, validation, and also we also need to process the data and information too. It will take a long process. So it just not short time, but it takes the long time. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Polite. I think we are close to the end of our seminar. It's already 5 in Jakarta. It has been a very exciting discussion. So drawing from the panelists' presentations and also from the open discussion, we can conclude that a holistic ocean governance must be connected across multiple scales, from global to national and to local level. I think that's the conclusion of our webinar today. And also before we end our webinar, can we take a picture? Mr. Indra, take a picture of this webinar. I think there is no response. Okay, so
wait a moment.
Yep. Can we take picture like all of the participants?
Okay, wait
Together
a moment.
together in one frame.
Okay. Can everybody turn on the video?
You can, all the participants attendees turn on the videos and put up some smile.
Okay, ready everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Wait a moment. Not yet. Okay, one more time, yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, next. The second page. 1, 2, 3. Third page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, fourth page. 1, 2, 3. Fifth page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Indra. And also for the certificates, it will be sent to your email within the next 2 weeks, along with other the webinar materials. Thank you so much for the speakers and participants for attending this webinar, and see you in the next webinar. Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, so that's next.
Okay, Mas Aldrin, what we are going to do now? Oh, something is wrong. Is disconnected. Okay, Ibu Susi, can you turn on your microphone and then give us guidance or what we have to do?
Okay. Maybe we meet the panelists in a breakout room just to say thank you.
Okay, so can we just everybody leave the seminar now? Ibu Susi, can
Senia is gone. Is Senia gone?
Yes.
Ibu.
Okay.
Yes, I think Ibu Senia dan Ibu Disi sekarang.
Okay, just thank you. Thank you for participating.
Yes,
And it's been very knowledgeable. Terima kasih banyak. Mudah-mudahan kita berjumpa lagi ya, ibu-ibu.
Yep.
Jangan patah hati.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, I will close the meeting room now. 1,
Okay.
2, and 3.